Hello everybody, this is Jeff at etrailer.com. Today we're going to take a look at this Curt Air Ride fifth wheel pin box for the Lippert 1621 and the 1621 HD long jaw pin boxes. And this has a 21,000 pound gross towing weight capacity. Now this will let you enjoy smooth, stable towing with your fifth wheel trailer by replacing your ordinary pin box with this Air Ride equipped model pin box. Now this Curt Air Ride pin box is an exact replacement of the Lippert Trailair Air Ride pin box, and it has the internal airbag and the built-in shock to help reduce chucking and absorb road shock for a lot smoother ride as you tow your trailer. This Air Ride pin box replaces the standard pin box that's on your fifth wheel trailer to cushion the ride. It improves the handling and will even limit strain on both the truck and the trailer. It does minimize chucking, eliminates the bounce and the jarring, and the internal airbag right up front here, this absorbs the road shock. And what's nice about this pin box, if you notice, it does give you a scissor-like motion, and that allows that pin box to compress, compensating for jarring and bounce. And then the built-in shock absorber right here, this ensures that that pin box rebounds and keeps the airbag from breaking down. This is a nice sturdy steel construction, has a nice black powder coat finish to provide rust resistance. Now down the very bottom here it has the Kingpin, which will connect to any standard fifth wheel trailer hitch. Now this Curt Air Ride pin box will install in place of the Lippert 1621 and 1621 HD long jaw fifth wheel pin boxes on your fifth wheel. The Air Ride pin box basically uses the same bolts that's held on your original pin box, so there's no additional hardware required. Plus it comes out of the box just like this, all ready to be put on the trailer, so there's no assembly required. Now I do want to mention, because this Air Ride pin box is quite heavy, probably a little over 180 pounds, we do recommend to have a friend help you support the weight during installation. This part is made in the USA. A few specs. Weight capacity again is 21,000 pounds. Now there are a few measurements I want to give you that are critical with pin boxes. The first one being the overall width. So if we turn this around and if we measure overall outside to outside width on this, you can see right at 12 inches for the overall width. And then the two measurements, which are going to be from the center of the Kingpin to the center of the front row of holes, and then from the center of the Kingpin to the center of the back row of holes. And what I've done to make it easier to measure, I've put a mark here which is the center of the Kingpin. So if we put our tape measure and we go from that mark, let me extend it all the way out. So if we go from that mark right there to the center of the front row of holes, it's going to be right at 19 3/4 inches. And then if we go from that mark to the center of the back row of holes, 27 5/8 inches. And the last thing I do want to mention is about inflating your airbag, how to know how much air to put in there. Basically, you inflate the airbag with enough air to raise the pin box to the ride height mark that'll be on the front of the shock absorber. I want to zoom in to show you that. If we turn this around, if you look at the front of the shock absorber, it has a written on here, inflate to this line, and then there's an arrow that points up. And then right up here there's an engraved line on the shock absorber here. That's the ride height marker. So basically you'd start with about 80 to 90 PSI, and then right up here is where you'll attach your air hose, take the cap off, put your air hose on there, and put air in there. As I mentioned, start with about 80, 90 PSI and keep putting air in there until this will raise to that line. Now you do want to make sure not to exceed 120 PSI. So first, when you're airing it up, you either want to get to that line and stop, or if it goes over 120 PSI and you're not at that line yet, you also want to stop there, whichever comes first. And the minimum pressure you need in this airbag for it to work is 45 PSI. But that should do it for the review on this Curt Air Ride fifth wheel pin box for the Lippert 1621 and the 1621 HD long jaw pin boxes.